The script pages stopped turning, and 10 crew members watched as Keanu Reeves was discussing philosophy when the Wachowski director told him that understanding Matrix requires more than reading scripts during a pivotal character development session that would reshape his approach to Neo forever. Warner Bros. Soundstage 9, Chicago set, March 1999. The Matrix production office occupies a converted warehouse space where revolutionary filmmaking meets philosophical exploration, where intellectual authenticity determines character credibility more than traditional acting preparation or commercial performance techniques that reduce complex science fiction concepts to surface-level entertainment designed for mass-market consumption rather than genuine philosophical inquiry. The discussion area embodies serious intellectual engagement, philosophy books scattered across tables that reflect months of conceptual research, whiteboards covered with diagrams exploring consciousness theories and reality perception, computer monitors displaying matrix code sequences that serve as visual metaphors for deeper philosophical concepts requiring sustained contemplation rather than casual observation. Keanu Reeves, 34 years old, reviews script adaptations while processing character development notes that challenge conventional acting preparation through philosophical frameworks extending beyond typical role analysis toward existential questioning that Matrix demands from performers whose credibility must span intellectual authenticity rather than relying solely on dramatic technique or physical performance capability. His preparation includes extensive reading of philosophical texts recommended by the Wachowskis, works by Jean Baudrillard exploring simulation theory, Plato's allegory of the cave examining reality perception, Eastern philosophy texts addressing illusion versus enlightenment concepts that inform Neo's journey from ignorance toward awakening, requiring genuine intellectual engagement rather than surface comprehension. This character requires understanding consciousness theory and reality perception at fundamental levels, Keanu observes, noting the unprecedented demands that balance philosophical complexity with action hero requirements, extending beyond conventional character development toward intellectual transformation that few science fiction roles demand from committed performers. Different kind of preparation challenge than traditional acting roles, he continues, recognizing the parallel between authentic philosophical engagement and commercial performance that prioritizes entertainment value over conceptual depth, requiring sustained intellectual commitment to complex theoretical frameworks that most actors never encounter. Their discussion begins with appreciation for revolutionary storytelling vision that operates independently of conventional Hollywood formulas, seeking authentic philosophical exploration that serves innovative narrative rather than maintaining established character archetypes through familiar dramatic techniques that generate commercial success without advancing intellectual understanding. The Matrix production attracts established performers whose intellectual curiosity reflects serious engagement with complex concepts rather than surface performance based on script memorization. Actors who understand artistic requirements while recognizing philosophical demands that serve both commercial success and critical recognition requiring sustained conceptual development. The philosophical consultation includes established academics whose theoretical expertise informs matrix concepts, philosophy professors whose knowledge spans consciousness studies, simulation theory specialists whose research influences matrix reality frameworks, Eastern philosophy scholars whose understanding of illusion and enlightenment concepts provides foundation for Neo's transformation. Most actors who attempt philosophical roles want simplified character motivations without understanding theoretical complexity, explains Dr. Sarah Chen, a philosophy consultant whose own academic experience encompasses decades of consciousness research. They expect character development based on emotional preparation rather than recognizing intellectual requirements that philosophical science fiction demands from committed performers. As discussion progresses, Keanu demonstrates respectful engagement with philosophical concepts and theoretical complexity, recognizing intellectual authenticity that extends beyond his current knowledge, while avoiding surface approaches that treat philosophical elements like dramatic enhancement, rather than understanding conceptual frameworks requiring sustained intellectual commitment. The production's reputation attracts legitimate intellectual figures whose academic authority creates evaluation standards for distinguishing genuine philosophical engagement from superficial appropriation that treats complex concepts like creative inspiration, rather than understanding theoretical work requiring sustained study and intellectual development. From behind her director's chair, Lana Wachowski observes Keanu's philosophical engagement with growing understanding of character requirements that distinguish Matrix from conventional science fiction toward intellectual exploration requiring lead performer whose credibility spans conceptual authenticity rather than relying solely on dramatic interpretation or physical capability. Wachowski represents authentic philosophical filmmaking authority, directorial vision developed through extensive theoretical research that revolutionizes science fiction storytelling, intellectual expertise earned through collaboration with academic philosophers, creative integrity that prioritizes conceptual authenticity over commercial accommodation that might compromise revolutionary philosophical potential. She listens to Keanu's character analysis with practiced assessment earned through distinguishing genuine intellectual engagement from performance preparation that treats theoretical concepts like creative inspiration rather than recognizing intellectual work requiring sustained academic study and conceptual development beyond conventional acting technique. The philosophical frameworks require understanding consciousness as construction rather than given reality, perception as selective interpretation rather than objective recording, identity as fluid concept rather than fixed essence, awakening as intellectual process rather than emotional experience, concepts that challenge conventional character development through theoretical complexity. As discussion deepens, Keanu demonstrates growing appreciation for philosophical concepts while revealing preparation approaches that emphasize script analysis and character psychology rather than engaging theoretical frameworks that inform matrix concepts through intellectual exploration requiring sustained academic engagement rather than dramatic interpretation. His questions focus on character motivation and emotional journey rather than consciousness theory and simulation concepts, approaching Neo's transformation through psychological development rather than philosophical awakening that requires understanding reality perception as constructed rather than discovered through conventional dramatic revelation. 7 seconds pass as Wachowski evaluates Keanu's philosophical engagement and apparent limitation in accessing theoretical complexity that Matrix requires from lead performer whose intellectual authenticity must support revolutionary storytelling rather than reducing philosophical concepts to dramatic elements serving conventional character development. Understanding Matrix requires more than reading scripts, Wachowski declares with precision earned through distinguishing authentic philosophical engagement from performance preparation that treats theoretical concepts like creative inspiration rather than recognizing intellectual work requiring sustained academic study and conceptual development beyond conventional acting approach. Her assessment exposes fundamental requirement that prioritizes intellectual authenticity over dramatic interpretation for role that serves as a philosophical foundation rather than entertainment vehicle, recognizing contemporary audience expectations for conceptual credibility that requires lead performer whose theoretical understanding supports innovative storytelling rather than accommodating surface comprehension. The declaration carries particular significance because Matrix represents philosophical breakthrough that demands performer whose intellectual engagement supports revolutionary concepts rather than reducing theoretical complexity to dramatic simplification that might compromise innovative vision for commercial accommodation or conventional character development. Crew members respond with understanding of intellectual factors that influence philosophical casting beyond performance considerations, recognizing revolutionary success that depends on performer capability whose conceptual authenticity supports innovative storytelling that surface preparation might not provide without corresponding theoretical engagement and sustained intellectual development. Keanu's face shows recognition of evaluation criteria that prioritizes intellectual engagement over dramatic preparation, his conventional acting approach conflicting with philosophical requirements that Matrix demands from lead performer rather than accepting surface interpretation as substitute for theoretical understanding and sustained conceptual commitment. But before Keanu can respond with arguments about his character preparation or defend his dramatic approach through previous philosophical interest, he demonstrates understanding that acknowledges intellectual requirements while respecting directorial expertise requiring theoretical engagement rather than conventional performance preparation. "Lana, you're absolutely right about Matrix requiring theoretical understanding," Keanu says respectfully, his voice carrying recognition of philosophical demands rather than defensive actor pride. "I need to engage consciousness theory and simulation concepts at fundamental levels rather than approaching Neo through conventional character psychology that might not serve revolutionary storytelling." Wachowski appreciates Keanu's immediate understanding of intellectual demands and willingness to accept philosophical requirements rather than defending conventional preparation that might not serve Matrix concepts, despite genuine commitment to character development and performance excellence through established dramatic techniques. Keanu continues with growing recognition of directorial authority. "When you say understanding requires more than scripts, you're addressing the need for theoretical engagement with consciousness concepts and reality perception that Matrix explores through philosophical frameworks rather than conventional dramatic development." The acknowledgement demonstrates Keanu's understanding that philosophical success requires serving theoretical authenticity rather than adapting intellectual concepts to accommodate dramatic interpretation, recognizing creative reality that influences character decisions beyond personal artistic preference or established performance patterns that might not serve revolutionary requirements. Wachowski recognizes Keanu's revised approach and willingness to accept philosophical requirements, her expression shifting as she appreciates respectful acceptance of intellectual criteria rather than defensive positioning that might complicate collaborative development of revolutionary character, requiring unprecedented theoretical engagement and sustained conceptual commitment. Over following months, Keanu pursues extensive philosophical education, while Wachowski provides academic resources to support theoretical understanding that serves character authenticity, demonstrating collaborative development that balances intellectual requirements with performance capability, rather than compromising conceptual standards or abandoning philosophical ambition. The collaboration results in an integrated approach that maintains theoretical authenticity while providing practical framework for performance development, recognizing that philosophical understanding requires sustained study and intellectual commitment rather than immediate comprehension that might not serve either conceptual vision or character development effectively. The industry observes with understanding as philosophical filmmaking demonstrates complex development process that balances intellectual authenticity with performer capability, recognizing directorial authority that prioritizes revolutionary success over conventional preparation, despite genuine artistic commitment and performance excellence through established techniques. Years later, Keanu speaks about Matrix philosophical preparation as educational about intellectual requirements, theoretical authenticity, and creative development that serves revolutionary storytelling rather than accommodating conventional approaches, despite sincere commitment to character excellence and performance innovation beyond previous limitations. Wachowski occasionally references that philosophical session as example of how revolutionary filmmaking requires balancing intellectual vision with performer development while maintaining respect for actors whose growth might serve theoretical requirements better than forcing conceptual compromise that undermines both philosophical integrity and performance authenticity. 7 seconds on Matrix set in 1999, one moment when conventional preparation met revolutionary requirements before intellectual understanding enabled appropriate philosophical development. One choice that served theoretical vision rather than dramatic accommodation and proved that authentic philosophical filmmaking requires matching intellectual capability with conceptual demands rather than compromising revolutionary standards. The discussion that showed philosophical success demands theoretical engagement and intellectual authenticity that can't be substituted through conventional preparation or dramatic interpretation alone, because Matrix required lead performer whose understanding serves consciousness exploration through sustained academic commitment rather than reducing philosophical concepts to performance elements that define revolutionary science fiction storytelling and conceptual innovation.